Welcome to Nursing 340, Statistics for the Healthcare Professional. My name is Lori Milliken, and I'm going to give you some information about this course. This course is presented in the form of weekly modules. Most modules include a quiz that needs to be completed. Sometimes you'll have a practice quiz that you can also complete. Please take a look at the course schedule that's in the syllabus. This schedule has all of the opening and closing dates for all of the graded requirements in this course. Please note that late submissions will not be accepted, so it's very important to make note of these open and closing dates for your graded requirements. Here's how I recommend that you approach this course. First, I would set up specific and regular times that you will log on to study the course concepts. Please stay committed to these regular study times. It's very difficult to catch up once you get behind in this course. For every module, the first thing I would do is listen to the narrated slideshow. I would do that first, and I would do it early in the week. Next, you can tackle the reading assignments that are on the website, complete any quizzes that are there, and finally, you can take a look at anything that is linked to an external website or some optional material that there may be posted. Some frequent questions that I get: how much math do I need to know for this course? Well, you need to know the basics. Add, subtract, multiply, divide. You need to be able to use the square root button on your calculator. You need to be able to square numbers. You may need to know order of operations as well. Also, you may need to know scientific notation because some articles that we will look at may present numbers in the format of scientific notation. So I would review some of the basic math skills that you might need for this course. However, you do not need to know calculus to understand statistics. This would be different if you wanted to become a statistician, but in this course we are focusing on basic statistics. So for this, you do not need to know calculus. We will not focus on how these formulas were derived. We will just use them and interpret the results of them. So you do not need to know calculus for this course. So as you go through the course, what should you do if you don't understand something? Well, the first thing is don't panic. Make a note about what isn't making sense. There's no need to criticize yourself for not getting it. Some of these concepts are very difficult, and it may require some repetition on your part, reading and rereading, for you to really understand the concept. So don't panic and don't judge yourself. The second thing is do your due diligence, which I'll talk about in a second. What is my due diligence as a student? First of all, be organized as you approach this class. Put in the appropriate amount of time, meaning stick to those regularly scheduled times that you set up to study in the course. Stay current in your readings and ask questions as they come up. What you should not do is criticize yourself or others, and you should also not use public forums to express any of your personal frustrations. Inevitably, you will get questions in this course. So questions will come up. How do you get them answered? First of all, please know that if you have questions of a personal nature, you should send an email directly to me. Questions that are more of a general nature should be posted in the appropriate discussion section in the course. So every module will have a discussion area, and this allows us to organize our questions by topic. And this will help you because if you have a question, you can look first at the discussion posts to see if someone else has already asked your question and if I've answered it, or maybe a classmate has answered it. So if you have a question, you can take a look at these discussion posts and see if your question is answered. And if it hasn't been answered, you can post your own question. And then I can answer the question, or maybe a classmate will answer the question. Of course, if this doesn't meet your needs, you can always set up a time to talk with me live. And you're saying, no, what if I really need help? Well, you can email me. You can post a discussion post. Also, you can set up a time to meet with me on the phone, and I can do this at any time in the course. I'm happy to do it because this is how to really understand the material. Read it, generate questions, ask them, get them answered, whether it's in a discussion post, an email message, or whether we do this by phone. But please ask for help if you need it. So finally, in summary, what are the do's and don'ts as you approach this course? 1, please put in your time. Don't get behind. Stick to your weekly or daily, maybe, times that you're going to log on and look at the material. My experience has been that to learn the basics of statistics, it is much, much better to be exposed to the material in multiple shorter time periods than to try and cram all in one long session, maybe on the weekends. So I would prefer that you log on daily for short intervals instead of once a week in long intervals. Listen to the narrated slideshows that are available. These will be the most helpful to you. Also, use the resources that are given. There will be practice quizzes that you can take, and it's better to make your mistakes on practice quizzes and learn from those mistakes so you don't make them on the quizzes that actually count in your grade. Please ask questions. Even ask the stupid questions. Make mistakes and learn from them. Good luck in this course.